Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Are you struggling right now? Are you struggling because why? Is it because you think your food program isn't working for you? Or do you feel that you're just too hungry all the time? It's too hard. Is it more the program that you might have issues with, the food plan that you might have issues with? Or is it just, it's just not mixing with all that you need to do and be this season, especially, as well as just being in the home and being super, super busy with so many responsibilities that, to think that you can actually plan and prepare your own personal meals, it's overwhelming, right? I'm familiar with that. And so how can you be food plan abstinent? And, for some people, I'll just say it, some people just not gaining through all of the holidays and the cookies and the parties and the whatnots, just not gaining is their goal. And boy, do I understand that. And if that's your goal, then that's really cool. So what are you going to do to stay that way, right? Put off the loss part for the next few weeks to get through Christmas or New Year's or whatever. And we know that it keeps going into Valentine's Day, Super Bowl Sunday, and Easter too. But let's just talk about right now the Christmas month that we are going to be entering into. And so as you're doing that, you've got to decide, or you want to decide, what you can do in this next week to not gain, to not cave to those things. What if you're eating low carb, high fat, keto, with no grains and no sugars, and here come all those special cookies, all those special desserts that, parade out once a year and are given to you with big red bows wrapped around them? How about alcohol? Are you a big alcohol imbiber? Are you somebody that loves full-fat eggnog? Flip over the carton and see if you still love it. Just saying. So, all right. So let's just make this a video about not gaining in the next month. How can you go about doing that? How can you fail-proof your plan so you can have some delicious things and not go overboard? Well, the way that I feel about it, for me and my food addiction, is not to be creating it in this house that I live in. So I am not, going to have 18 batches of cookies. If that, and trust me, I was the most famous shortbread, each one hand decorated cookie maker that I know. I would run into my kids' elementary school teachers and they'd say, "Do you still make those cookies?" Because I'd give them as presents to the teachers. And I'd bring a tin in for their day, because back in the day, I don't know if they still do it, but you could bring in, there would be little parties and you could have sugar items back then, but I don't know what's going on now, but back then. And so, yeah, I stopped. You know why? Because it was there. And I could be rolling out dough and eat a mouthful of it because it was butter, sugar, flour, and egg yolks. To die for, as a dough and as the cooked cookie with the frosting that I put on each and every one. And trust me, my addict was so full-blown with those cookies, so I couldn't make them anymore. So for me to have a weight gain less month in December, I can't have the item created in my kitchen and hanging around. I've become accustomed to Greg's special things, his desserts, his num-nums, and I don't even see them anymore because I what? You know the word. I've taught it here. Squint. That's right. I squint at his items. I'm not about ready to change him. He doesn't need to be changed, want to be changed. Ask me how to change. So he has his goodies. They aren't a part of my life. Even if they were a part of my life, I can't see them now. And the convenient part is when he's tucking into his goodies after dinner, I'm already over on the couch. And it's a bistro table that we have. I know this stuff sounds really weird, But, if you figure out your trigger moments like I have, it's like, this is a trigger moment. So he's in the bistro thing. So he's this much higher. So what he's eating, I can't even really see because I'm low in the couch and he's eating over there. And so and so we're both watching the TV to his left and my left. So it's not like I'm watching him eat each bite to the point where I jump over the chair like a ninja and steal his fork and his item. So, number one, I'm not having the item in the house. Two, I'm not eating in between meals. I am not sitting down with a cuppa, a mugga, a glassa, and 2 or 3 little loud temptations and having it midday. I'm not. If I was to have something, like, okay, let's just call it 2 cookies. If I was to have them, it would be immediately following the meal. Put down the fork, pick up the item, and eat it. There's no lag time because it's the snacking that really screws up the body because it doesn't have a chance to work on digesting, and it will create more insulin as an item all unto itself. So if you're going to have the item, it's not, I'm too stuffed right now, I'm going to go do the dishes, then I'm going to come back and have it. No, no, no. Have the item immediately following the meal, be it the first meal of the day or the last meal of the day, and absolutely no nighttime eating. What does this mean? You're going to a nighttime party. Ugh, I hear you. Well, I guess it's a special occasion. What I would do if I was going, I have the no eating when I stand, and I have the no appetizers deal. So, a party for me is, it's not that it's torture because I've done it for so many years, but it is triggering. And, I know that I could eat scallops wrapped in bacon with my food plan, but I don't want to have a dozen scallops wrapped in bacon while I'm standing and talking. That's a bad habit for me. It's a bad behavior. And so I have to be very, very aware and monitoring my behaviors if I'm in a social situation that is not mine and I don't have the control of certain things. And so if I was to go to a social event and it was a stand-up appetizer type of thing, I wouldn't have them. I know this sounds really hard and really impossible. The best that I could say is that you make up a little plate and you bring it home. And, you go out to your car because it's cold enough and you put that little plate in your car and you're all set. And then you can just graciously say no thank you to all those things. Unless it's a sit-down thing. And then if you've allowed it for yourself, my suggestion is not to go with the license to eat, having anything that you want. To me, it would be very dangerous for me and my food addiction because I could knock off 2,000 calories before I got up off the sofa with just the spread that's in front of me on the coffee table. Because when I start engaging in food, I become antisocial and I don't care about anybody there. I don't. Richard Gere could come in, I could probably name some more. They aren't going to have the attraction to me that food does because I'm a card-carrying food addict, and it gets triggered way to next Sunday when I'm around my trigger foods, and it's a social situation, and I have a little social anxiety, and so it's much easier to eat. And I know I have been at so many parties where I have just checked out, but I'm still present because I'm eating everything in sight. And it's just, talk about the emotional and the intestinal hangover the next day. I don't want that. It's enough that I'm going to lose some sleep because it's late at night or I have to travel or something like that. Now, I don't want to have the food and the emotion, the intestinal and the emotional guilt, remorse, self-loathing on top of that, on top of being sleep deprived. There's a trifecta that is not good. And Another thing that I suggest, if you're having that treat, if you're going to that event, if you absolutely must have so-and-so's special cookies, bring them home and eat them immediately after your meal and be done with it. It doesn't mean that the next day is a freebie, is a eat what you want kind of day, because that's going to take that maintaining your weight till maybe New Year's Day or maybe January 2nd, and it's really going to put it in a precarious place because you're tempted. And I know for me, my resolve, my willpower, my dedication, momentum, commitment to my food program would go out of the window by the end of day 2. It just would. And by day 3, it's like, what food program? I'm here to eat. It's the holiday season. I'll catch you January 2nd. I know I would do that. Why? Because I'm 66. And I've had years of doing that. And I don't want to do that anymore. So that's another one of my things. So the sleep deprivation is enough. If you've been doing well with your food plan, if you're losing, if you're satiated, if it works into your family system, but yet you want to have some goodies this season, take it from me. Sleep deprivation should be the only thing that you suffer. Have it right after your meal, no snacking, absolutely no nighttime eating to add to that, all that stuff. And, you know, enjoy yourself. Make the goal, make the commitment, put it below on my YouTube channel. Commit that you're going to do something. When Star committed to not doing something for Thanksgiving Day, I committed back that I wasn't going to. What happened? We both felt great the day after Thanksgiving. Why? Because we didn't cave. And I don't want to overeat because you guys aren't overeating. How is that? I don't want to get into that zone of the poisonous foods, the toxic foods, the highly addictive foods in my system, because I know that you're probably trying not to do the same. And I want to be in that same camp. My fear of missing out is seeing the scale at a 10 spot, a 10 in just 1 month, because I've allowed myself to have that. And you wouldn't want to tune in to me if I was busy at the trough every single day saying, I'm having fun, I'll see you in January. You wouldn't appreciate that. It's tough enough with the struggle, but caving to the struggle, you know, so we all need the tips, the tools, and each other's commitment through the next month to stay the course. It's time for me to go now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please comment below. What is your plan for the next 30 days? It is now December 2nd, right? So let's hear. What do you plan to do? You've heard what I plan to do. My plan is to not gain weight. And maybe that's just the best I'm going to do. But not gaining weight is a gain for me. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Bye-bye for now.